Welcome back, everybody. Today in the kitchen we are going to be making some fried shrimps. So I already started the shrimps in the marinade. I'll cut to that and let you guys see how I got that together, but it's been marinating for about an hour, hour and a half now. Alright, now for the marinade. We're going to start with some spicy garlic chili sauce. You can find this in your ethnic section at your grocery store. We're going to use about a tablespoon, just a heaping dollop there. Next, we're going to add sesame oil. One thing to note here is you just want a little drizzle, because if you add too much, it's going to really overpower everything else, and that's all you're going to taste. Next thing is going to be teriyaki. We're going to use about 2 tablespoons here. That should be plenty for the amount of shrimp that we have. And the last thing we're going to add is soy sauce. This is really just to help loosen everything up so that once we stir everything together, the shrimp are fully coated and get all the different components across the surface of the shrimp. Once we get done stirring this together, we are going to cover it with saran wrap and throw it into the fridge until we're ready for the next step. We also are going to be making some rice to go with our fried shrimps. Instead of cooking it in just water, we're actually going to be using orange juice. It actually doesn't sweeten it all that much, just adds that little orange flavor to it. Tastes pretty good. We're also going to be making a orange sauce. So earlier today I also reduced some orange juice down with some red pepper flakes, so it is going to be spicy. We'll finish that up once all the shrimp's fried and the rice is ready. We'll do that last before we start plating everything, but I'll also show you a clip of that as well. Alright, this comes together real quick. We're just going to add 1.5 cups of orange juice, a tablespoon of red pepper flakes, bring this to a boil. Make sure you keep an eye on it because it will overflow on you pretty quick, but we're going to let this simmer for about 10 minutes until it's reduced by half, and then we're good to go on to the next step. Alright, so for the rice, what we're going to do is we need 1 cup of rice. So I've got a fine strainer so that we can go and rinse this. Then just a measuring cup for 1 cup. Pour this in there. If you go over a little bit, no one really cares. It'll be okay. Just dump this into your strainer. What I'm going to go do, I'm going to head over to the sink real quick. Rinse it really well with cold water. And it's probably going to take a little bit, so at least 3-5 minutes. What you're really looking for to know once all those starches are off, or at least most of them, is the water starts to run clear. So again, cold water, rinse for about 3-5 minutes, and I'll meet you back, guys, over at the stove once that's done, and we'll get to cooking. So the rice is rinsed like we talked, so the water ran clear. Again, took me about 3-4 minutes. So we're going to place that into our pot. Hands are clean, by the way. And we also, for the orange juice, we're going to add 1 3/4 cups right to here. Once that's in, we're going to turn the stove on. Oop, wrong burner. Alright, we're going to start off on high heat, let that come to a simmer, stir it a couple times. Once it does hit that simmer, we are going to turn the heat down to low, put a lid on it, and let it cook for that 25 minutes. We can see that the orange juice is starting to boil, so now we're just going to give it one final stir so it doesn't stick to the bottom or get burnt. And just give it a good, nice stir. That looks good. Alright, time for the lid. So lid goes on and temperature goes down to low, and we start our timer. Well, folks, it's sad to say only on the second video we had our first camera malfunction. So I went through, breaded all these shrimp thinking that I was recording. Lo and behold, wasn't. So just gonna talk through real quick what we did. So we added flour to this bowl, we added salt, pepper, that's all we put in here. For this bowl we had 3 eggs cracked. We whisked that up so it was well mixed, not clumpy, consistent throughout. And then this bowl we had panko, and we added, let's see, salt, pepper, of course, paprika. I ran out, which is not good. Added that to the list. Garlic powder, just some general seasoning. This is seafood seasoning, and then a little bit of red pepper flake. For all the seasonings, I just did a sprinkle across the top. And then the red pepper flake, I only put probably maybe a teaspoon, and not to make it too spicy. But the way we did this, we took it out of the marinade, dredged the shrimp in the flour, so that's fully coated, so you can't see any wet spots. Once that was done, we put it into the egg mixture. Same thing, made sure it was fully coated with egg. And then we put it into the panko, covered that so it looks like this, and then we just piled them all up on this plate. But yeah, sorry about that. I'm very disappointed. I'm kind of aggravated, but that's okay. We're going to press forward. So I'm going to get the camera moved, verify that this got recorded, and get the oil started on the stove. We're going to preheat that to medium heat, medium-high heat. You really want it to be extra crispy, but I'll show you that once we get over there. So let me verify that this is recorded, and we'll meet you guys over at the stove. We're at the stove now. The oil's been heating for a little bit. I'm going to kind of shake the pan. You can kind of see it shimmering. It looks really hot. But one true test is if you take just a little piece of that panko off of that shrimp, just drop it in. And if it floats to the top and starts to bubble like that, it means we're at a good temperature. Some other things I've done, so while we were getting the oil ready, I checked the, ooh, that was dangerous. Don't do that. Don't put water into your hot oil. But moral of the story, rice is ready. So we're just going to keep a lid on that, and hopefully this doesn't get too crazy. Keep a lid on the rice to keep it warm. Another thing that I've done is did a little prep sheet. So I have a cookie sheet lined with paper towel and then a wire wrap. We're going to put, because we have to do this in batches. So after each batch, we can put that on the wire rack. I've got the oven set to warming, so I can throw those in so that they stay nice and warm until we're ready to plate. All right, everybody, let's get our first batch in. And just be gentle, be careful, don't burn yourself. I like to go around the edge first. Kind of helps me remember which one I started with. So when I flip, they try to cook them as evenly as possible. Alright, one more. And what I normally do is like just keep an eye on them. Normally it's about 2 to 3 minutes per side. You want to wait till that panko is nice and golden brown. Again, don't overcrowd the pan or else it's going to drop the temperature of that oil, and the panko will actually absorb more oil than you really want. It'll be really greasy. So make sure your oil's hot, don't overcrowd, and we'll wait about 2-3 minutes. We'll flip them over and keep going. While this goes, I'm actually going to do some cleanup. That's a nice little time saver, is get this stuff going and then go clean up some of the other stuff that you already made a mess with. So we'll 2-3 minutes, we'll be back, flip, and keep going. Alright, time to flip them over. Nice golden brown. Show that to the camera a little bit. If you tend to have hot spots, sometimes, like, look at this guy, he's not quite as golden as this one. So if you see that, just make sure you're centered over your heat. Sometimes I do that. I'm like way off to the side and I have a hot spot in one spot and everything else isn't cooking. Never good, but easy fix. Just make sure you're nice and centered. All right, 2-3 minutes and then we'll pull these off, put the next batch in. All right, let's do one more flip just to make sure everybody's nicely browned, but these are looking freaking awesome. We may just have to do a little taste test. Maybe that will help for the aggravation of the camera malfunction. Alright, so these are done. So again, I'm going to have my cookie sheet with the wire rack. We're just going to transfer these over. Oh yeah, look at those. Alright, so quick salt, pepper on these, and then let the oil come back up to temp. Then I'm going to throw these in the oven. Alright folks, we're back. So adult beverage for today, Luna Nuda. So let's get that going first and foremost, might as well, right? So this is a Pinot Grigio. Apparently it goes good with shrimp. I think it goes good with most things, but that's just my opinion. So let's take a sip of this, taste this. Tastes pretty good actually, nice and sweet, not too sweet. Definitely going to go good with this, especially with this being a little bit more spicy. That's going to help cool, be a good refresh and cool down the mouth a little bit. So before we get into the shrimp and showing you how I normally plate this, actually I'm going to show you two different ways. We're going to start with the sauce that's going to go over it. So we talked earlier in the video about how I took some orange juice, reduced it down, took about 10 minutes or so. Had the red pepper flakes in there as well, so it is going to be spicy. It's going to pack a punch. Think of like a bang bang shrimp type sauce. Not sure how you make that, but this is what I imagine it's made, or how it's made. So we have mayonnaise. We're going to add just a heaping tablespoon to this. We'll see how that goes. If we need more, we'll add more. So you just want to whisk this really good. It's going to take a minute before all the clumps get out. It's going to kind of look kind of nasty, but trust me, it definitely tastes better than it looks. Alright. Let's give this a quick taste. So like I said, keep whisking until there's no more clumps, because you don't really want clumps of mayonnaise on your sauce either. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Definitely should only need a heaping tablespoon. Give it one last good beating. Alright, that's good to go. Move that over there. Alright, so we got our sauce. We have our beautiful shrimp. They look freaking good. Let's see, close this up. Alright, so we have our shrimp. Again, this got done sooner than I kind of anticipated, but still keep that lid on. It'll keep it nice and warm, and shouldn't have any issues. So I'm going to show you two different ways. I prefer to have my rice on the bottom and then shrimp and then sauce on top. But I know my husband also likes his rice separate from all of his shrimp and sauce. So I'm going to show you two ways to do this. So if you just take a small bowl and take probably about half a cup, so just a good healthy serving there. Kind of fluff it up a little bit. And then choose, usually I do 4 to 6. I'm going to do 6 today because I think I worked up a good appetite. And just top them on top. So it's 4, 6. And then this sauce, we're just gonna drizzle over the top. You don't want to douse it. Definitely don't douse it. It's gonna cause the shrimp to get soggy, and nobody likes soggy shrimp. So again, just quick little drizzle over the top. And then to top it off, always gotta have some greens. So I chopped up some green onions here. So I'll just break some of them up and just decorate. No artist, so don't stress out too much about that. So that's our first style. So the next style, very similar. Again, just a good heaping, about a half a cup. That's probably more like a cup, but that's okay. And just again, just kind of fluff them up. And then I'll give him 6 shrimp as well. He can come back if he wants more. 4, 5, 6. And then he just likes his sauce over the rice. I guess he just likes the crunchiness of the shrimp, which is fine by me. So again, just a little drizzle over the top. Alright. And again, I'll give him some green onion as well. I'll do a little bit over the rice. A little bit over the shrimp. Again, no artist, that's okay. Rinse my hands. Final touches. Let's do some final salt. Ooh, excuse me. Final salt and pepper. Alright. So again, we've seasoned this many times, so again, don't go too nuts, just a little bit. Pepper. Can never have too much pepper, so we'll go big there. We'll put that there. And I'm just going to put pepper on mine. Alright guys, I think we're done. Again, we have 2 ways to dish this up. Just depends on the preference of the folks that are eating it. Or you can even serve it up like this if you've got people coming over, if you just want it as an appetizer. Another good idea with this is if you have tortillas, you could do shrimp tacos. That's probably what we're going to be doing tomorrow. Again, rice saves very well, sauce saves very well. And then if you do reheat those, that's critical. So if you reheat these, please do not put them in the microwave. Just throw them in the toaster oven or even in your oven, set to 375, 400, just until they warm back up. And that's probably the best way, because if you put them in the microwave, they're going to get soggy. And again, nobody likes soggy shrimp. So that's all I have for you guys today. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Apologize for the camera mishaps through the breading. I really wish I could have shown you that, because I think that was the key part of this whole video, was how to actually go through the assembly line of it. So again, apologize. We're learning our lesson through this YouTube thing. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Really try this out. I think it's really worth it. I think people get deterred by frying food and they think it's too complicated. It definitely takes a little bit more time, but trust me, it's 100% worth it. I personally think that this is better than any fried shrimp that you can get at a restaurant. It's fresh. You know exactly what's going in it, which is big for me. So again, enjoy it. Have yourself a glass of wine. And I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. And I hope you learned something, and come see us soon.